Hey guys, it's me, Mrs. Deal. I wanted to make a short video for you to explain the dialectical journal that you are going to be keeping while we are reading The Great Gatsby. Okay, so if you open it up and take a look at it, this is what it looks like. You each get your own copy so you can type your responses on here. All right, so let's take a look at this. A dialectical journal is a conversation between you and what you're reading. You simply write down passages that make you think or interest you, and then write about your thoughts. This process is an important way to understand a piece of literature. By writing about literature, you're making your own meaning of the work in order to truly understand it. So when you do this yourself, then the text belongs to you. You have made it yours. You're interacting with the text. You're thinking about it. You're reacting to it. You're not just reading it, and that's it. Okay, the book is there for everyone to read. We're all going to be reading The Great Gatsby, but we're all going to have our own reactions to it, our own interpretations of it. Okay. However, the connections and interpretations are uniquely yours. You are neither right nor wrong in your response, so be willing to take risks and be honest. So here's what you're going to do with your dialectical journal. And if you think back to probably middle school, do you remember like your teachers would tell you to talk to the text? Okay, that's kind of what you're doing here. So this is kind of like annotating, but a little bit more elaborate. All right, so for each chapter of The Great Gatsby, and there are 9 of them, so for each chapter, you're going to choose 5 passages. And what I mean by a passage is a sentence, a paragraph, a whole section maybe, whatever it is. You're going to choose 5 passages that you find interesting or thought-provoking. Either they remind you of something in real life, they help you to understand the novel better, they give you insight into a character, they reveal something about the plot. It really doesn't, just something that sticks out to you as you're reading. Okay, then you're going to write down your quote from the book. I have on here include the page number, and so that I'm not going to be super duper picky about this time, just because you are working from a PDF. And so the PDF, I believe it has page numbers. Okay, so write down the page number. Then you're going to write down your thoughts, reflections, responses, connections, etc. to the quote. For each quote, you must write 2 to 3 sentences. Your responses are not summaries. Don't just restate what happened or what the quote means. I want to know your feelings and thoughts about the quote. Okay? So you're expressing your thoughts about what the author has told us. This journal should be completed right after you read. So as we read each chapter, you should be completing this. Do not wait until we're close to the end of the novel and then try to do this all at once. It's going to be really overwhelming. It will take you a long time. You'll be very mad at yourself if you do that. And it kind of defeats the purpose. I want you thinking about the book while we're reading it. Okay? Yes, this will be a grade. Your entries must show thought and effort. All right? So you can't just be like, oh, this was cool. All right? I want to see that you're thinking about the book. Your entries in no way should resemble a classmate's entries. These are your thoughts, not the thoughts of the kid next to you or the kid who shared his document with you, since we are doing this in our virtual atmosphere here. Okay, so let me give you an example. So you can see down here on the document, this is where you're going to put your quote, and this is where you're going to put your response. All right, and I have this all set up for all the chapters. Okay, up through chapter 9. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to find a quote. So today you're reading chapter 1. And, oh, okay, one thing I want you to note. So I would use this quote. Whenever you feel like criticizing. Whoops. Okay, and this is a quote that, and let's see, it's from page 1. The Gatsby's father says to him, actually, don't need that number in there. Okay, so I've taken this quote from the first page Gatsby. So whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. So then over here, I would write my response. Now my response is going to be different than yours. Maybe this is something you've never thought of before, or maybe this is like, well, no kidding, this is the concept of, walk a mile in someone's shoes. But for me, I might make a comment about how important this is in the novel. And so maybe I would say something like, is aware that he, and then I'm going to spell that word wrong because I always do. Boop. Oh, and please note that I fixed it. And boys and girls, when you're doing this, please use proper punctuation, capitalization, check your spelling, all that kind of good stuff, all right? So the narrator is aware that he comes from. Oops, see, I didn't capitalize my I. And I spelled that wrong too. Way to go, Mrs. Deal, spelling everything wrong. All right, so I said the narrator is aware that he comes from privilege. However, I'm not sure if he really follows his father's advice. As a matter of fact, this might not be relevant at all in this novel, and this might be something I want to go back to after we've read more. Does the narrator like encounter people who haven't had the same advantages as he? Or does he maybe encounter people who've had more advantages than he? All right, so this just gets me thinking about this quote. Okay, so I wrote down the quote and then I wrote down my response. Your response is, try for 3 sentences. Really try to like put your thoughts out there, write as much as you can. For the quotes, if it gets any longer than like a sentence or two, you can shorten it. Just make sure you give me enough information that I know which quote or which part of the book you're talking about. Couple of notes about the quotes is it doesn't have to be something somebody said. It could just be, a sentence from the novel. It could just be, maybe it's a description of something or, something from the plot. It doesn't have to be something somebody said. All right. So that is what you're going to do for your dialectical journal. Okay. It's all right here, kind of explains. And then I did this example for you. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please let me know. And again, I can't stress enough that you need to be doing this as we are reading the novel. Do not wait until the end. And this will be for a grade, so you do have to do it. Yeah. So don't wait till the end because you will be very, very, very angry at yourself. I've seen it happen many, many times. All right, there you go. That is your dialectical journal. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye, everybody.